3, 2, 1. Okay. Hello. I guess this is the first actual episode after the many first episodes we had. So we watched Persona today. Do we have to say the name of this show and stuff? This is the
greatest
Search
movie
for the Goat podcast.
Search for the Goat.
There you go.
And so there was a bit of a debate before we did this episode. Like, what's episode number 1 gonna be? For a little while, it was Citizen Kane, but then it was like, which I'll bring up again later because I did mention I've lost interest in doing any rewatches, but that's besides the point.
I think we always.
I've lost all the interest in that. I really, but that's another topic we'll mention maybe later in the episode. But I've lost interest in that. But here's the thing, guys. I didn't know this actually. I didn't because I never really read into Persona. It is.
So yeah, that was the movie. Did I mention that?
It's Persona by Ingmar Bergman.
Ingmar Bergman. Again, he's like
the synchronized joke.
If you're into movies, or if you're in the quote unquote film, and if you're into cinema or cinema, as I like to call it, he's basically like cinema personified. Like there's no other director who kind of like I think I mentioned this is a verbatim quote from an episode before, but when you want to invoke cinema, you say Bergman.
I feel like he's more like the type of dude to be like cinema as an art form. You know what I mean?
That's the cool, and I really
rather than cinema as entertainment, it's cinema as art form.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. That's very much because especially now in today's times where we're in a time where our movies and even our TV shows, they feel like they're geared more towards entertainment. So it's very, 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 very interesting to watch someone who's full on like, not only is this art, but this is my art. Like he's expressing himself in a way like, but I can't, especially I have someone who's been trying to like do this on my own with like writing. And I've been trying, like I've had an interesting mindset in me of like, oh, let's write for the industry. It's really cool to see someone go, you know what? Fuck all that. Let me just tell my stories. It feels super fucking pure in a way I really gravitate towards. And that's the way we come in. That's the way, that's my end in the Bergman. Again, besides the whole literally like, it's him and Hitchcock. I feel like I mentioned this again before. It's like, those are the first things we get into. Yeah, when you want to like, okay, let me get into movies that aren't just, the ones that were made after I was born. Because that's usually a pretty good like timeline of like what movies you like. So many of them are like, oh, I was born, before.
Should we describe what this movie is about?
Well,
for those who
it's a tough one to describe.
It's a
tough one to describe.
Yeah, this one is a tough one to describe. You guys want to all take shots at it?
I have no understanding of what I just watched.
Really?
Oh, really?
This one. All right.
Wait.
Okay,
let's not get ahead of yourself.
Sorry. Even before everything. Paul, you said you didn't like it.
No.
Raj, what's your judgment?
I think that was my favorite Bergman.
I think so. I think I really fucked with this one.
Dude, that was easily my favorite Bergman.
Yeah.
Easily.
Interesting. All right. I just wanted to get that out the way. Sorry.
Well, one last thing I want to get out of the way is, here's the thing, because if we're not doing Citizen Kane, this is episode 1. This is a pretty good episode 1 because apparently this was
pretty good.
This is considered not only Bergman's masterpiece, which I did not know, but it is considered, like outside of Citizen Kane, a contender for the second greatest movie of all time. Like there's something said literally like, outside of Citizen Kane, this is the most written about movie in the film canon. So
I didn't know that. No,
I didn't know it. I didn't know that either.
I didn't even think this was Bergman's most like.
Yeah,
I thought it was.
Well,
I'll tell you what. Though,
yeah.
Even after liking this movie, if you declare this as the greatest movie of all time, you're just an art snob to me. I think so.
I wouldn't say it was the greatest, but I did like it. I did like it a lot. Not a lot, but like I did think it was a good movie.
All right.
But anyways, shall we go into each other's like
Yeah, what do you think
What
this
do you guys
show
think?
is about?
I think we should start with Paul, right? Paul seems like
Cody,
he's
go for
ready
it.
to burst out of his seams with some opinions.
I did not. I don't even if I like. I don't understand it. I didn't know what I want. I don't know. I over the head
So
completely.
you're just fucking confused the entire time.
The entire thing.
Confused, a little bored.
Were
Beautiful
you
imagery. Beautiful imagery, but
okay?
couldn't tell you what happened at all.
I mean, you got like it was basic. All right, let me I guess
Let's
kind of
hear
put
it.
my interpretation of
Let's
it.
hear it.
So you got this chick came into a hospital because she wouldn't speak anymore, right? She was this actress. And then you had this nurse taking care of her, or a doctor. I think she was a doctor. The blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a nurse, I think.
Yeah, I never got her name. But okay, so while she's trying to like help her, the silent girl to talk, Elizabeth was the mute girl's name. While she was trying to get her to talk, she pretty much spilled out her emotions to her, and Elizabeth kind of got knowledge of her personal life. But then you find out that Elizabeth was actually the one spying on the doctor. This sounds
See, I didn't get that at all.
fucking dumb. So you find out that
Elizabeth's an actress too. She's an actress.
So then like the whole movie kind of flips, and now you got Elizabeth kind of playing the role as like the one in charge, and the nurse like kind of playing the subservient role. Then it started getting really confusing for me.
So yeah, I'll agree with you with that. Like a lot of the things that happened, I'm confused about. You know what I mean? I'm confused about. I think it had a little bit to do with the fact that it was in Swedish. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of it.
I think it's also
went over our head.
That this deals with like mental, like these people are mentally fucked up.
The thing is, the feeling I got while I was watching it was literally that I was going insane. You know what I mean? Like it felt like the thought process of like people just talking in their heads almost. You know what I mean? Like when you're arguing with yourself, or something like that. And yeah, go ahead.
No. I think we're coming on to the same thing. So you go ahead.
So yeah, so I felt like it felt as if that they were trying to both work through their problems in a way, and it was just like they're both trapped in a way, and it felt and when you look at the imagery of Persona, you kind of see it's very there's not much going on.
Mirror, right?
It's very rare that you'll have even 3 people on the screen. It's mostly just one-on-one everything. The background is always very it feels very plain, and it feels almost like secluded. Everything's secluded in a way,
like an asylum.
Like you're stuck, kind of, right? Like kind of how you feel when you're going through some kind of depression or whatever, or some kind of lunacy or craziness. It felt like that. It felt like the characters were truly insane, or like had issues, and what else about it? The thing is, it was a confusing film for me.
This is my theory.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think there was never a nurse, and that this is just like she imagined it in her head, so she would have someone to talk to in her silent period. And like when the nurse like finally kind of like freaks out and tells her like to like stop this shit, that's when she finally like, all right, let me give up on this dream and like go back to my family or whatever.
Oh, interesting. Thing is, I felt as if like in the beginning, my theory was that it was always the nurse that was that was the insane person, and
Yeah.
Elizabeth was just studying some sort of a character. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Studying
that's what they
like a
made it out to in the second half, right? With the
like
attorney.
yes, she was studying the character of a maybe a crazy, not crazy, but like a mentally not okay person, and then what happened in like the last 20 or 30 minutes kind of threw me off. I think this is a movie that you probably have to watch like 2 or 3 more times to
Nah, you
fully
just
Yeah.
gotta read a
create
synopsis.
Yeah.
create like a um understanding of it. But I felt like there was also a lot of dream play. Like it felt like a lot of them was like a nightmare or dream. You know what I mean? Like all of those scenes. Those scenes were very beautiful, by the way. Not beautiful,
Yeah,
but
and
they were so well made. Those
a lot of
crazy.
them like repeated, right? I thought I
Yeah.
was going like I thought the video was
See,
being fucked up when they
exactly.
repeated that one scene.
See, thing is, that's probably very, for that time, people probably didn't do shit like that. Like, oh fucking, it felt as
Honestly,
if,
people
yeah,
don't do that shit now. I haven't seen
yeah,
like that's probably the first like movie
yeah,
I seen where they did that
yeah,
particular thing, you know?
yeah, yeah. And some of it also felt like they were trying to break the fourth wall, but they didn't. You know what I mean? Like
I thought she
there's
was at one point. I thought she
I
was
did
talking
too at
directly
the
to the
end. Yeah.
camera. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was also points where like out of nowhere it'll be a loud noise, and then you'd just go frantically back
Yeah.
into some sort of like nightmarish fucking scenes about like with a child, and then of like a movie slides going in, and then the opening sequence was fucking crazy too with the, you know what I mean?
Well, that was the
So
thing with the boy
yeah,
and touching the fucking like big face. That
yeah,
was his mom. That was fucking
yeah,
Elizabeth.
that was Elizabeth. Yeah. So yeah,
I think it backs up my theory. I really think like there's no nurse. It was just her, because then like all the dream shit kind of makes sense to me. You know what I mean? Where it's just like,
yeah.
and that makes sense why like they repeated some scenes from like different perspectives because she's playing out both perspectives in her mind.
Mm.
If that's
Yeah, she's
true.
playing both. And thing is, also the name of the movie is what Persona, right?
Yeah,
So I'm guessing it has something to do with like the ego or like the mask that you wear, your personality or whatever,
yeah, and that
Like
makes sense because she was an actress too.
yeah, she was an actress. You can put these on. You
Mm.
things I don't even know if a lot of the things they were talking about, like it felt almost like they were like um what's it called? Like like what's that disorder when you have multiple personality
Yeah,
disorder, right? It almost
right,
felt like
right.
that. And then there was that scene where at the ending both of their faces were
Yeah,
combined together,
split into one.
and at that moment I felt as if maybe they were the same people, maybe they were just talking to one another in their head. And remember,
Yeah, that's literally what I'm saying.
yeah, exactly. And remember when they were having that conversation in the beginning of the movie where it was like, it sometimes feel like there's two people in my head, one that's like this and that's like one that's crazy and then one that's normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and then the silent girl Elizabeth, she comforted her or whatever, right? And yeah, and then I think it's at the ending it was a play upon that. and another thing, dude, at the end when she went on the bus, it was just her. Where's Elizabeth?
Exactly.
Maybe you're
And
right.
so, like, also the scene with the husband, what was up with that?
I don't know. I don't
That's what I
really know.
mean. Because, like, all right, here's my now I'm like interpreting this art. This is my fucking dive into art snobbiness.
Okay.
Elizabeth is like, that's the real her, right? But, like, because she's an actress, like, she knew how to put on roles and put on masks and stuff. Like the
Yeah.
nurse girl, the one that's like having orgies and shit, like that was always a part of her too, but she had to
Mm,
repress it. You know what I mean?
okay.
And
Okay.
all of that finally came out when she had
Yeah.
this baby because she thought she could just play the mother role super easy,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
she couldn't. So then she just started like, it all started collapsing.
Yeah, I see that. I see that for sure. Yeah, because who was remember in the scene when that father was trying to, I mean, not the father, the man was trying to comfort, what's her face? Who was he trying to comfort? Was it Elizabeth or was it
The
the
nurse.
nurse? I think it was the nurse, right?
I don't remember that scene. The doctor was trying to comfort her.
Not the doctor. Remember the husband, right?
The
Whoever the
husband,
man
I
was,
think.
right? And she was on the bed, she was crying, and then the man embraced her or whatever in the bed. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
I mean,
I
but
don't think I do. Honestly, that whole movie felt like a dream. I
dude,
know what you mean.
yeah, that whole movie, that's what I'm saying. That whole movie literally felt like a dream. You know what I mean? It felt
Yeah,
like the scenes were not very linear.
I
It
mean
was
that's what happens when you're going through a psychotic breakdown too.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it just doesn't make sense in terms of like, did she go to a secluded like little island, or was she always in like a fucking nursing home? Because then in the end of the movie, they did show scenes of her like in a mental ward, right? Once in a while, and then the nurse had her uniform on, and then some scenes like the earlier ones she didn't.
Yeah, maybe we gotta like watch this movie again or
I
something.
think it's some Shutter Island shit, you know. I think
Yeah,
that's
I feel like
Well,
maybe
it's, well,
yeah,
it's what?
Paul. Yeah,
Well, it's categorized as psychological horror, so that's exactly the genre Shutter Island is. And Scorsese is noted as a big fan of Bergman and Persona as well. So
hmm,
I have this had to be on his mind with Shutter Island. I imagine.
mhm.
No way it
yeah,
wasn't.
possibly. Yeah,
Hitchcock too, by the way. Hitchcock
Yeah,
too.
like especially like the scenes with the dialogue.
yeah,
I think I saw that in Shutter Island too.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a good pickup because that's exactly
Look at
what it
me
is. What's going
knowing
on here?
fucking movie shit.
Yeah, huh?
Look at me knowing movie shit.
Mm.
yeah, dude. Yeah, here.
Um,
All
it's
right,
funny
what
hearing what.
yeah. What
Go,
don't
go
you
ahead,
like
Paul.
about it?
Well, before
I mean,
that, I will say it's interesting to hear you guys talk about like all your theories because I do wonder because that's a common thing with some TV shows that I've read about. Having not watched, but like the X Files, Twin Peaks, Lost. Like those are the things that come to my mind. And a lot of the fun of those shows is you theorize about, oh, like what happened? What's that? What's this supposed to happen now? What does that mean? And but that does come if you this is television history now, but that does come from Twin Peaks. That's the Twin Peaks thing that Lost and
X
X
Files
Files
and
were
stuff,
doing.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and which even like I wonder if when it was airing, there was a bit of that in like Breaking Bad, I guess. I don't know. Or even like, but they did theorizing as being a fun thing to do with a story. I think is a new thing. I don't think that's a thing that really like that's not a traditional way of engaging with a story. I don't think. I could be
You don't think so?
wrong.
Like
Not
that's just what like that's what you do when you go to an art show, right?
that's well, this is very true. I
hmm,
was thinking like, oh, like the Mona Lisa, what does the Mona Lisa mean? Oh, well, I have a
Right.
theory. I because I think with a lot of more like searchers, I wasn't really searching for like, oh, what's the ironically, what's the meaning of this or Citizen Kane? Like, well, what does this mean? What does that mean? What does this, like you're not engaging with the movie on that level. Like, what does it mean? I think in terms of like literally just
yeah,
what does this
Right.
plot event mean? You can deal with
yeah,
a theme, like what is it? That was the movie mean? What's it trying to
yeah,
Yeah, well
say?
that's the thing. For this one, I
yeah,
don't think there
It's
was much of that where it's like, what's the theme of this? It was more like, what
what
the
is
fuck is this
this?
plot?
Which
yeah,
Yeah.
again, I think a lot of modern TV shows kind of took. I don't know if I took it from, but okay, they did take it from Twin Peaks, but David Lynch did take it from like Bergman, I think, to some extent.
yeah,
But I just something I noticed it's interesting as
yeah,
I know those shows make more sense. Like I'm sure it's like, but it's like I don't know, it's hard to especially 'cause I
Yeah.
don't
It's
like
like Lost, right? It's pretty
yeah.
much like the
yes,
whole
that's
idea
which is
behind that.
weird because I've read about Lost. I have never I
Yeah, I
watched the
never
pilot
watched it
years
either.
ago, but
That's
it's
some
just to
boomer
say,
shit.
huh?
That's some boomer shit.
It is
Don't
some boomer
worry.
shit. But the guy who did it, Damon Lindelof, he is basically one of the I guess, highly sought after writers in the
Mm-hmm.
business. He's a big deal in Hollywood. So I thought I was just looking like, oh, why? What makes him a big deal? And I think a lot of it is like he gets people like, oh, he engages people with the mystery of stuff. Where it's like,
Yeah.
what does it mean? What does it mean?
No, I listened to some like podcasts from like back in those years when Lost, they were talking about it. You know what I mean? And
Like,
like,
what does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean?
or yeah, like, whoa, what
Dude.
do you see this episode? Like, whoa, what the? And then like all of us, like, no one's going to talk about Lost. We're probably the first people to talk about Lost in like 30 years or something. not 30
but
years.
it's an interesting, like, again, with Citizen Kane, you don't go like, what does it mean? What does it mean? You just think, oh,
I think we
movie.
had a little bit of that with
But in
Citizen
turn,
Kane.
it's you're not debating plot details. You're debating thematic content. What does it mean in terms of like, what does it say about the world? This is like saying like, what did I just watch? Where's it going?
Well, I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, I
I
felt
feel
like
like-
that
Yeah.
with Seventh Seal, where it's
Yeah.
just like, I don't get this plot at all.
Yeah.
This one, I'm just like, I could like
Yeah.
piece it together if
Yeah,
I try.
Thing is, I feel like Bergman did that on purpose, believe it or not. I feel like Bergman didn't really isn't that I feel like he made it unclear on purpose. You know what I mean?
Probably.
I feel like he made it so that it doesn't necessarily have a linear plot. It's more like a stream of consciousness type thing. You know what I mean? It's like you're just kind of like you don't know if everything's just a nightmare. You don't know if everything's just a dream or whatever. And I think the play on reality versus the dream world or the nightmare world or our own thought process, that's what he was trying to get at. He was trying to grasp that concept of reality, pretty much like surrealism, like
David Lynch.
Like David Lynch. That's like he was trying to be very like, very conceptually I can't even explain it, like conceptually fucking.
Here's how the mind works.
Yeah.
This is what reality like is. Psychological shit. Like at that time, how was like when did this come out?
65.
Did we have? I think we had like the insane asylums back then, right? It was like
66, by the way.
Lobotomies and shit back then. Yeah. So it was like it's pretty ahead of its time to try to think of like shit.
Thing
like
is,
this.
I think he did a lot of it very well. I think he did especially the nightmare scenes, the nightmare collages.
Yeah.
I thought those were done in extremely like trippy, extremely psychological like way, you know what I mean? That I haven't really seen that much. Even in modern times, I didn't see it like that. That's why I'm saying, dude, to me, that's the best Bergman, man. That's, to me, I think that one takes the cake.
I'll definitely, like, out of all the Bergman movies we watched, this one I like the most.
Yeah, I mean, sure, definitely. All the other Bergman movies, by the way, we watched, guys.
We'll talk about
like.
We
should talk about Bergman a little bit.
And Seven Seal.
We could save them for again the recap where we talk about the movies we watched. Because there's 8. We watched off the top of my head, I might be missing. I don't think I'm missing one. Well, we watched Akira, which originally we left because we listed our favorite movies, 7, and because it's like, oh well, does Akira really count? As we're not, but now I think we can count it now. I think just because we changed the parameters.
And this again has nothing to do with this episode, but I got some more anime movies that I think has a shot at being like the greatest.
I do want you to listen. Well, fuck. List them down. We'll talk about that in another episode, probably. But listen, don't forget, because we're gonna start watching again. We removed the time constraint. We're watching whatever the fuck we want. Yeah. We were talking about before the podcast, before the bunch of Pulp Fiction. Like, you don't like Pulp Fiction, Cheek?
I still don't like Pulp Fiction.
I don't either. Reservoir Dogs is cool. Jackie Brown.
Yeah, I haven't watched Reservoir Dogs, but it looks alright. So
it looks.
You would like good. Reservoir Dogs.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very.
But dude, Pulp Fiction is the best one.
No good.
We should watch it again. You know what? You know what they've never watched? They've never watched Schindler's List.
Oh yeah,
I have not watched Schindler's List.
Dude, let's watch Schindler's List next.
I'm down.
Well, no, I will before we get there. Okay. Shit. I want to watch Shawshank because I watched that 10 years ago,
Shawshank.
and I
Okay.
want to see that again because I know that's held as like the greatest movie of the
Yeah,
modern
and
era.
like certain people do consider that. Yeah.
Yeah, if you were
Okay,
I got
born,
I'm
the
down.
running out of time thing.
we had 10 minutes, but
No, we got
Alright.
time. We got time.
So, yeah, should we wrap it up about Persona and then we'll like talk about like maybe the next?
well, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Paul, go ahead.
No more
Yeah.
thoughts other than what I said. Just
Okay.
literally,
Yeah,
I didn't
not
get
into it. Man,
Nah.
this seems like the movie you would try to convince
I
us.
know.
I think you did convince us to watch, and then it ended
We
up being
did.
that
I
we liked
did
it.
because it's more the reputation than the
I
actual
see,
my
I
interest in
see.
the movie. You know, I'm not a beautiful imagery.
Imagery was very beautiful.
I
Yeah.
can
I
respect.
love the black and white. I love
Black
the
and white was a
contrast.
good, like it really did fuck with my head, like certain
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
The sunset scene, for example, when it
Yeah.
started to get darker, I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I can respect what it's trying to do, but I checked
Yes.
out. Like
Yeah.
I just checked out.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. All right, Raj, what do you think?
Okay, so I mean, thing is, part of me wanted to check out, right?
Yeah.
But part of me also was like, nah. Persona. I think they got something here. You know what I mean? So I kept watching and I forced myself to be very attentive during this one because I was like, there has to be something about it that it's considered so great. You know what I mean?
It was weird because like
Yeah.
all the excuses for when I usually just like look at my phone during movies, they were all there for this movie. Like it was a foreign movie, you know, they talk really fast, like
And
they
you have to keep
say like
reading the
weird shit.
captions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
So,
but I still didn't for some reason in this movie.
yeah.
There's something about it just made me like.
Yeah. I think the imagery really was very modern, actually, believe it or not. I think the imagery was, even if somebody did that imagery in the 21st century, I would be like, that's fucking beautiful. You know what I mean? I would say that is, whoever did that is a highly, highly creative person, I would say. You know what I mean? And the fact that this happens, this was done in, I feel like I sound snobby, but whatever.
This is what this podcast is about.
Well, you see, but the fact that it happened in 1966 and they had like such limited things to work with, and they portrayed the surrealism of your mind and your reality. You know, it almost made me question, the whole movie made me question what was real, what was fake, what is who's real, who's fake, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, is there a good guy, is there a bad guy. It was just a very like existential movie, a very surreal movie,
it was really cool that it was so fucking trippy without needing the fucking really high budget like trippy visuals. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it didn't need to do any like thing like Midsummer did or anything like that. It was just oh shit.
Another fan of Bergman, Ari Aster, who did Midsummer and Hereditary. Yes.
So yeah, overall, dude, to me, I think I'm gonna watch it again one day, and I'm probably gonna appreciate it even more. And maybe like just the concepts alone and how well they did some of those scenes, I could easily think of this as one of the greatest of all time. You know what I mean?
Because I think so too.
Because I'm just like, how well did they do those scenes? You know, how well did they balance those fucking concepts without getting too all over the place, you know?
Yeah. And both the actresses were like so good at like delivering emotions, especially like one that couldn't fucking talk the entire time. Like if you think about that, like it's pretty fucking cool.
So yeah, overall, that's all I really have to say about it. I liked it. Yeah. I don't know how much I liked it, but I definitely thought it was a great movie. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm on the same boat. Like it was very like, I'm usually against these kind of like movies, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was something about this one where I was just like, all right, I'm gonna keep watching. Maybe
I mean,
I'm going nuts like the main
yeah.
character or some shit.
Yeah. Yeah, this one definitely solidified Bergman for me as definitely one of the
Yeah,
all-time greats. You know,
I see his worth now.
yeah, definitely, yeah. But yeah, that's about it for me. Yeah.
Yeah,
So should we talk about what we're gonna watch next time?
Well,
yeah.
yeah. Again,
Should we pick the next three?
well, we got the next three. It's Casablanca, Seven
Okay.
Samurai, and well,
I didn't pick mine.
Rajesh, you said a Hitchcock movie, and you said it's between Vertigo and North by Northwest. I'm gonna fight you, and I want you to pick Vertigo because that
Hey,
is
hey, it's my
this.
choice.
It
Okay.
is your choice, but I think for the sake of because again, I think after these three, then we can go full on like okay, let's watch Spirit
So
Away
you wanted me to pick Vertigo, right?
because it's just its place in the canon is
Dude,
so
I
much
really
higher.
wanted to watch North by Northwest, dog. I really wanted to watch North by Northwest.
Oh,
Come
I'm
on,
so sorry.
we gotta do it. It's
Dude,
his
North by Northwest is
vote,
what I wanted to
Paul.
watch.
Come on.
Dude, you gotta pick Vertigo next time.
No, because I wouldn't. That's my problem. I wouldn't.
I guess, dude, North by Northwest it is.
Yeah, North by. It
I'm
has
sorry,
to.
Paul. Look how disappointed he looks.
This is
No, because it's
This
like
is
again,
beautiful.
Vertigo. Right now, Vertigo sits atop the Sight and Sound's like greatest movies of all time list. Like
I mean,
it
there's probably
beats Citizen Kane.
somebody.
that's
There's
why
probably somebody
Raj
that
has to
put-
go against it.
Yeah, dude, counterculture, bro. I'm punk rock. You know what I mean?
Punk
Like you want
rock,
that
yeah.
to be your first Hitchcock for the audience?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
North
dude.
by
Fuck.
Northwest.
Fuck
believe it or
Vertigo.
not-
All my homies hate Vertigo.
Yeah, we don't do Vertigo over here, man. It's fucking North by North. I'm sorry, Paul. I'm sorry. I know you're disappointed, but I'm pretty sure some people out there prefer North by Northwest to Vertigo.
Paul,
It's an easier watch.
I did.
Is it
wanna
an easier watch?
Yes.
Have you
I
watched
did want to
North by
watch a
Northwest?
Hitchcock movie.
Wait. It's
Sorry.
okay.
Have you
What
watched
was your-
North by Northwest, Paul?
last year, near
Last year.
when COVID started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like May. I liked
you
it
wa-
quite a bit.
And you watched Vertigo too?
I watched Vertigo almost 4 years ago. Yeah.
Did you watch the birds or the crows?
I have not watched The Birds. No.
The Birds I watched in the fucking 6th grade.
Is it any good? Kind of want to watch that.
Honestly, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
All right.
It's about it's the equivalent of like fucking
Goosebumps?
Sharknado.
Okay.
All right.
No, this is
North
fun.
by Northwest. You still want to watch Casablanca?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, Casablanca. What's yours again?
Seven Samurai.
Seven Samurai.
Come on, it was
Dude.
almost perfect because that's like then we can finish off the pretentious
Nah, dude,
movies.
it's the beauty of the chaos.
Dude, North
You
by
have to-
Northwest is probably pretentious.
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
Okay,
It's,
dude.
no, it's not because it's kind of an action movie. That's kind of the thing. It's
Okay, for you, the next movie I pick is gonna be Vertigo. All right.
after North by Northwest.
After North by Northwest, just for you. But I want to watch North by Northwest first.
That's fine. All right, cool. Because it's like I don't know when we're gonna get back to the '50s Hitchcock shit. So
Dude, we normally stay here for much longer. It feels like, you know.
we did wrap up pretty. We're done.
No, we're good. We got a 1 minute 40 seconds to spare. Look at us.
It says
All right.
less than a minute, but
Everyone, take care. Hope you enjoyed our first movie.
Casablanca
Bye.
next.
Casablanca next.
What's